Now this is Bappa. This house is in Vasama. Yeah.
In Fiji.
And that's the house they grew up in?
Meena Singh calls herself the Aboriginal girl with an Indian name.
Yeah.
Jeanette.
Her mum, a Yorta Yorta woman from northern Victoria, her dad, a Fijian Indian man.
For me, it's never a case of one or the other. It's both together all of the time, yeah.
Two cultures connected through a shared experience of British colonisation and forever linked by a date that means very different things to both groups.
And myself.
And you.
January 26 is Republic Day in India, while in Australia it's Survival Day for First Nations people.
Indian Australians celebrating a date of independence from a colonising power on the same day as celebrating invasion by a colonising power. What do you think about January 26 now? Like, for me, it's anger and it's pain and it's sadness.
It's very painful, not at this time of the year when all these people, they ring up the radio stations and say, oh, you know, we should let the past. But who's past?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We still have a past.
Yep.
You know, we've always been here.
We need greater acceptance of these different views and different understandings of people's experiences.
India was under British rule until 1947. A democratic republic was formed on January 26, 1950. Some migrant families make the date a dual celebration.
Celebrating Australia Day becomes part of also showing a symbol of we too want to be able to belong.
Kushal Vyas is working to educate his community that January 26 can have very different meaning to First Nations people, including his parents who migrated to Australia in 1988.
What was, I guess, Australia Day like when you first came here?
I think over the last 30 years, our wider Australian society has actually become much more knowledgeable and I guess much more sympathetic towards our history, our Australian history of our Indigenous peoples.
A 2020 survey found 68% of new migrants and refugees celebrate Australia Day.
Essentially celebrating liberation and invasion at the same day, and doesn't make sense to me.
Dance collective Bindi Bosses aims to unify South Asian and Indigenous Australians.
As landowners, as homeowners, as people who have access to universal healthcare, all of that has come at the expense of First Nations people.
The historical similarities of colonisation, but also celebrating survival and continuing culture, make it easy for Bindi Bosses to show up for First Nations mob.
One of the group's latest collaborations integrates designs by Wiradjuri artist Bianca Caldwell.
Joining Bindi Bosses has been a huge learning curve in terms of advocacy and just exposure as well to First Nation culture and stories.
We are the second largest migratory population now in Australia. Our presence absolutely matters.
A message Bindi Bosses take to the stage on what they say always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Carly Williams, ABC News.